Hi, I'm Tom Paladino. I am a scalar light researcher. Today we're going to speak about an energy spectrum that's not electricity, it's not magnetism. Scalar energy is the technology of the future. Everybody that visits our website, scalarlight.com, is entitled to 15 days of free scalar light sessions. Now, we work with people by way of their photograph. You're going to email us your photograph by way of our website, and we work through your quantum field. So this is not a one-on-one session. It's a quantum session with your force field.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, this business is going to be very unique. We have never tapped in to an entrepreneur in scalar light energy. Chief Tom, he's going to tell us what's going on, how this can benefit us. If it can benefit us personally, it can benefit us in our business. So I want you to stay tuned, listen, or watch, for those of you who watch on YouTube.
It can benefit us.
Yes. Well, Tom, welcome to the show. Tell us about it. Let's just jump right into it. What is scalar energy?
Hey, thanks for the invite. What is scalar energy? It's Tesla energy or 0-point energy. We're not speaking about electricity. It's a different energy spectrum altogether. And what you can do with scalar energy, you can achieve incredible functions with scalar energy that you cannot achieve readily with electricity.
Okay, go for the people who, unlike me, were able to, do a little bit of research beforehand. What is it? Is it crystals? Is it sacred geometry?
No.
Is there radiation? Does it increase the radiation? Sure. Give us the game for the ones just learning.
So to give the audience an overview, scalar energy, it's from the sun, it's from the stars. It's that scalar energy, life force energy that we're speaking of. Sunlight or starlight. Now, it's benign. It's the life force energy of the universe. It's responsible for all life, for all genomic forms. And furthermore, this energy, there is no pollution. There's certainly not any radiation because it's pure, non-physical, divine light. It's the light of God. And when you tap into that light source, it's not a stream of electrons. No, it really is the omnipresence of God. And in so doing, we have now been able, with instruments, I have custom-built scalar energy instruments that tap into that omnipresence, that tap into that life force energy. So this is unlike anything that you'd experience with electromagnetic energy. So scalar energy, again, is the technology of the future. It is a different life force energy, so to speak. It's not electricity. This life force energy gives expression to everything. It is the cause of all phenomena, as far as I'm concerned.
And can you tell people, when you say of the future, if it is from God and it's always been here, right, what have we found out now as just more, just regular human beings, right, how we can take that energy and use it, and what can we use it for?
I frequently say everybody's an expert in scalar energy. It's creativity of the mind, or a thought, or it's prayer, or it's an expression, and it's emotion. So what am I getting at? It's consciousness, and everybody has that access to consciousness. Well, I have an instrument that controls that spectrum. That's the key. I've developed instruments that harness, control scalar energy.
Now we want to go even
on account of that fact, I've been able to use these instruments to improve what I call even quantum health of anybody, whether it's a person or an animal. We can improve now their quantum health with a scalar energy instrument.
Now with this product, and let me just let the audience know, I think there's just a small delay. So, but I'm happy to have the conversation. So if you guys hear a little bit of pause or anything, don't worry. Editors will handle most of it. But I want people to really kind of understand this, because everyone's looking at alternative medicines, and stuff like this scares people, because they'll say, let me go ask my doctor, then let me go ask my pastor. And if they agree, then I can say, oh, maybe I can try this before I send my picture. If you can use the energy for good with your machine, is there a way to use it negatively? And I don't want to, put a negative thing on it, but just so people know.
Yes, to answer your question, yes. And any type of energy can be used either for good or evil. And that's one of the reasons I'm very cautious about what I release and what I share with the general public. I only concentrate on the good. I'll never entertain any thoughts of using this, commercializing this for a broad scale application. The technology really should be guarded right now.
Now, if it gets into the wrong hands, what are the things that people can do then to protect themselves? Not, it might be 10, 20 years, maybe lifetimes from now, but what can people do to protect themselves if that ever came?
Well, I believe this energy, again, is everywhere. It's the omnipresence of God. So if you control the omnipresence of God, I don't think anything can prevent its signal or prevent its transmission. So realize I'm working with the first principle of nature. So can this energy be blocked? No. And with that expression, I want to guard this technology. I don't want to give this technology away, and I certainly will not. It's a very powerful instrument. And to be blunt, it's similar to that of the Ark of the Covenant. If you looked at the Ark of the Covenant of the Old Testament, that was a scalar energy vessel. And provided that's in the hands of good and righteous people, only good deeds will come from that. This is the same energy of the Ark of the Covenant.
Now, when you talk about the Ark of the Covenant, many people will say, hey, that's hidden. It's in Israel. It's in Ethiopia. They move it around without us knowing. Some folks will say, this sounds like it's out of a movie, maybe a comic book. Yeah. Is it possible that you can overuse this? And have you ever seen that? Or what could happen if you overuse it?
The way I've calibrated these instruments, I only use what I consider a minuscule amount of power to it. But if I were able to create instruments that were very strong, then yes, it would probably overwhelm. It would be incredibly strong. So I keep parameters on it. I govern, if you will, the output of this energy. Keep in mind, I'm not bashful about this. I am controlling a fundamental energy that controls all action. Scalar energy controls all action in the universe. If you will, I have the modern day equivalent of the Ark of the Covenant.
That's a big responsibility. And then to tell everybody, do you ever worry about your security? Do we need to call security for you before you have some overzealous person trying to go over there and say, Tom, show me, I'm on my deathbed, help me.
Yeah, God protects me, and God protects his technology. If this really is God's design, God's will, it will come to fruition, and people will eventually recognize what this means. I can't stress this enough. Once we incorporate this technology, it will liberate mankind. There are many impediments to industry, to medicine, to just our day-to-day living. Scalar energy will be that sea change that we're looking for.
Can you tell the people, and I'm almost asking you to be their father right now, how it can cleanse the people of all the nonsense that we see online in the news, the media, pitting everyone against each other in this country alone?
You're right. You're right. There's too much fighting. You're right. Well, people email me a photograph. I only work with a photograph. Why? This is my photograph. It's my energetic copy. So my photograph carries my signature, my current real-time signature. And with that, I can identify my spirit, my soul, if you will, my mind and my body on the photograph. And in so doing, a scalar light instrument will cleanse the soul, the mind, and the body.
And does
someone the interface of a photograph? I never work with.
No, go ahead, continue. I'm sorry, the delay. The delay.
No problem. So this is a new science in which we don't work with people or animals. We work with photographs of people and animals. Why? The photograph is the copy, the energetic copy of a person or an animal. It's a new science again, and we're just starting to learn that you can access a dimension, the scalar energy dimension, by way of a photograph.
Is this something that people have to believe in for it to work? Like I tell people, prayer changes things, but go to Philippians 4:6. You have to believe. And so is it something they have to believe? Or if someone is on their deathbed, you can bring that grandmother, picture, and maybe it can have an impact.
Yeah, good point. If you believe, I think it's going to accelerate and augment the healing. But keep in mind, I work with many animals, pets, and they obviously don't realize that they're being treated. And after I work with these pets, many pets, if you will, are more vibrant. We're able to eradicate many pathogens that these pets that we're experiencing. So it still works. Why? It's fundamental energy.
Now you've already mentioned my next question, but it's my signature question. So I got to ask it. What is your community give back that you're doing or that you plan on doing in the future with this?
I want to heal the world by way of a photograph. My goal is to be able to treat 1 billion people a year by way of a photograph, whether it's one photograph or a group photograph. Today in my laboratory, I treated over 250,000 people by way of a photograph, over 250,000 people. So it's not difficult to scale this up to the point where eventually we will be able to treat 1 billion people a year by way of a photograph.
That's a lot of people to help, and the world needs it. Tell people how long you've been on this journey and this science and the things that you have seen change in your life and others.
I am 62 years of age, and I've been at this my entire life. So this really, since my theoretical underpinning, if you will, as a youngster, it's been a 50-year journey so far, and I enjoy what I'm doing. It's a new science, so you cannot rely necessarily upon academia. Why? There is no college textbook. So much of my work either references the early work of Nikola Tesla, or what I would say that now the modern day version of scalar energy research. I'm one of the few pioneers in the world.
And how much pushback have you gotten throughout those, 50 plus years? And what have you been able to do to overcome that?
Yeah, not much. And I'll tell you why. The people are with me. This is a grassroots movement. And I predict that this will succeed is because good people, many good people out there want this to succeed. And they're part of the movement, people. I try and obviously avoid many corrupt governments and many corrupt businesses. That business model today is very corrupt, let's face it. So have I had pushback? Very little. Everything I'm doing is clean, it's perfectly legal. Working with a person's photograph is perfectly legal. It's never been defined, frankly. So what I'm doing is within reason, and it's appropriate. And with that in mind, there cannot be any pushback.
Health benefits, and I want to be careful when I say this because, I've seen what people call miracles, people getting healed inside the church, outside the church. And so with this, it's a healing component. Can you talk about any of the healing that you've seen? And again, folks, this is what he's seen, his opinion, his life. So,
right.
Yeah,
good point. About 2 or 3 years ago, I started working with people in Tanzania, an HIV clinic in Tanzania. And then 2 months ago, I received word from the clinic in Tanzania that everybody that I work with is no longer HIV positive. Everybody that I work with now has a negative viral load. And most of those people have gone back to work. They don't have any symptoms of HIV viral disease. Now, that can only be proven by way of a person's testimony because there's no scientific proof for a photograph. So this is a new science without a scientific protocol. I want to make that clear. So how do I rely upon the results? People, the testimonies of people.
And is there any plans of maybe going back to Tanzania? Uhaligani, for those in Tanzania who, speak Swahili.
Yes.
Is there any plans of doing like a test run and trying to do that again with a new batch of people?
Yes. It's ongoing. We have agents around the world, volunteers around the world, and now we want to, if you will, promulgate this throughout Tanzania, throughout Cameroon, throughout India. And we want to start treating millions of people a day. Mark my word, the day is coming, Kelly. The day is coming, we will treat 1 billion people a year. You can't keep a good thing down. And with a people movement like this, it multiplies. It feeds upon itself.
Now, with your company, is it possible if someone says, you know what, I like this, I understand it, it fits in my spirit, I'd also like to get an instrument so I can also help people. Is that possible, and how, if so?
No, I won't sell the instruments. I'm going to guard the technology. There's too much that can go wrong. I do not trust this with evil entities. It's such a powerful instrument, so I don't plan on selling it. So what do I plan to do? Offering free sessions to people around the world by having agents around the world. Again, we don't need but one laboratory. Why? Because all the photographs come to one laboratory.
Wow. Now, is there any internship or any training where people can come to you and learn more?
Yeah, I would like to set up a central campus eventually, a central campus, but nobody's really made that desire yet that they want to spend years learning this. Keep in mind, as a new science, there's no payback, there's no remuneration. What do I mean? That it's not an industry. So how many people want to spend years researching without a paycheck? It just hasn't happened yet. So we have to wait for this to develop to become an industry.
And besides believing, is there anything else that people need to do if they put their picture up and let's say they want to, grow their hair because they're balding, or they have ED or something? How do they know which, problem to focus on?
I let the energy do the healing, if you will. I'm not the healer. Jesus is the healer, frankly. And the standardized sessions that I offer on our website will balance the chakras, will eradicate microbes, and then assemble nutrients. And those are the 3 sessions that I offer, and that's what is guaranteed when working in the photographic dimension. Balding hair, that's out of my control. I can't.
Okay, I had to ask. You see, maybe you can't see, mine is thinning a little at the top, so I gotta ask. That's why I'm letting it grow where it does. But now with this, can you tell folks, if this is your full-time thing for your whole life, or what did you do before, like focusing on this business before the internet even?
Yeah, that's a good point. I studied. I had to work other jobs. Now that I'm getting towards the end of my life, I can finally bring my work to the public. I was not ready to do this 25 years ago. I was still learning. So the past 10 years or so, I've been able to promulgate this in a public setting, and the response has been stellar. Frankly, God bless the people. The people accept this.
So in your retirement, you're able to live out your purpose fully.
Yes. That's the way it's looking, right? I'm getting these are my golden years, and now I can bring my life work to fruition. Yeah, you're right.
Of those who are listening who say, you know what, I'd love to see a TED Talk on this in my city or just even online, have you been able to get into those realms on a speaking tour or anything like that, or not yet? Not yet.
I continue to try, but to be quite frank, I want to keep it grassroots. And I think there are powers that be that know what I'm doing, but they're blocking me. Because if these results are so stellar, at least the testimonies are so stellar, why isn't this circulating around the globe? Well, there are nefarious forces that are blocking this.
Well, I want you, if you can, and you don't have to do names, but maybe departments, because we're both in Florida, and this delay, I don't even have this delay when I am talking to someone in Malawi, in Tanzania, in Sierra Leone. And I always tell people, hey, they're listening. And if you know who they is, you know who they are. But can you talk about just the powers that be, that is it the healthcare industry, insurance, that don't want this to go public?
Yeah. Very, very good. I believe there is an Illuminati. It's a secretive cabal. They're evil. And at the top of the pyramid, at the top of this evil pyramid is the Illuminati. And they see that this technology is a threat to their empire. Scalar energy will make obsolete many functions in the military industrial complex. Scalar energy will make many industries obsolete. Okay, it's if you will, electricity is going to go the way of the horse and buggy, so to speak. And because scalar energy is such a threat to the technology in existence today, my work is suppressed.
Wow. Wow. And if you guys have never heard of this, you've heard of other things where to say, if we had peace on earth, a lot of people would lose their jobs. If we, if we got
Right.
along.
Right. Exactly. Thank you. This is the game changer. Keep in mind, this is free energy. It's from the sun and the stars. What does free energy mean to the oil companies? We don't need oil. We don't need coal. It's free energy. All you have to do is tap it, harness it from the stars. What is the new power plant of the future? Our sun, the stars.
Now, is there a book out that you've written or that you recommend that people can, check out and learn more?
I would read Nikola Tesla's Colorado Springs notes. He was in Colorado Springs performing experiments. And if you can understand that, you understand his incredible genius. I've not written a book. I have articles on the website, monographs that at least lend itself to this new and emerging science.
And when you say Nikola Tesla, I want you guys, to make sure you don't get it mixed up with your car that you're driving. Because I've talked to some crypto millionaires, billionaires, everyone's one now. And they say, Tesla, can you talk about what do you see coming with automation, with, maybe nobody needs a job because we're all telling our, bots and everything else what to do. Our cars are driving themselves.
You're right. That's a good point.
What do you see?
That's a good point. So with automation, you automatically downsize the workforce. I mean, that's kind of obvious. What am I getting at? The 40-hour work week is obsolete. I don't know why we're still working for 40 hours or 50 hours. If the machines, instruments are doing the work for us, a multiple of 5 to 1, 10 to 1, there's instruments that can do the work of 10 people. Why are we working 40, 45 hours a week? It's a contrivance. It's fabricated. We don't need to work 40 hours a week. Scalar energy will take the place of the workforce. So we can have leisure, and the scalar energy instruments, the machines, do the work. I mean, that's kind of obvious.
The 4-hour work week. I'm sure you've read that book.
Yeah.
If we did have a 4-hour work week, what would you say we should focus on, to find our purpose? So many people are working jobs, and whether you make a big money or little money, they don't even know their purpose. They're just working. So now that you're living in your purpose, what would you say we should be doing?
It's love God, love your neighbor, love yourself. That's the key. And what is the point of technology? To help us, to liberate us, not to enslave us. Much of the technology today only helps the elite, and it enslaves the people, the masses. I want to turn that upside down. I want technology to liberate everybody.
I love it. I love it. This is right up my alley. I think that's why the Zoom is acting the way it's acting. But for those of you who stayed on listening, check out the free trial on the line. The links will be in the description, no matter if you're listening on iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, our latest partner at AYV Radio in Freetown, Sierra Leone. AYV Radio, thank you for having us. And thank you, Tom, for coming on. Any last words you want to leave the people with?
Watch the world change for the better with this technology. Scalar energy is the essence of God. Watch what happens in the near future.
And watch before Tom is done. Watch before Tom is done. Maybe he'll get us a book, a series, maybe a movie, and then the masses will tune in, right?
Why not? I'm not a movie producer, but bring it on. Sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on. You guys, thank you for listening. Are those of you who watch, and make sure you share this with somebody. It will change their life. You guys be blessed.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stretch the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand, or 10,000 Kenyan shillings, or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from Kellen Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.